Happy Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. Today we will focus on writer's craft because that's what these essays are focused on. That's what they're about, right? We're not writing whether or not we think Curt Flood deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, or if we really do need national service now and the government should pay people to volunteer. We're focusing on how well the author created their argument and how it affected, how it persuaded the reader. So that's going to be the focus of our revisions for the essays we did yesterday. And if you didn't get it done yesterday, get it done today. Suffer and do what's right because you are a good person, and take care of it. If you did get it done, I've got a good worksheet for you to do that'll help you prep you to get your revisions done and get a good test grade. So today I will revise my essay and focus on how the evidence supports my thesis. And that's a big deal. That's the topic here. But once again, if you did not finish the essay or if you didn't start the essay yesterday, work on that. Don't worry about the revisions. You have to do the essay first. For our close, Carvajal's tired. Carvajal's suffering. What's your favorite Mexican food place in the area? I'm always looking for a good restaurant. And I've gotten some really good names of places that I haven't tried before. So if you know a great little hole in the wall, those are my favorites. The places where nobody speaks English, that's got the best Mexican food. Or just a good, nice place that you like to go to. One of my favorite places is Mi Hacienda on Potranco Road. It's up Potranco, a good ways past military. Past 1604, and really good food there. So give me some ideas, put it in the discussion, and I'll look over it and talk about it at the end of class. Okay, so let's look at. Here's a question: best Mexican food in the area. And actually, before we go into Wednesday's work, let's look at Tuesday's work. For those of us who haven't been here, I know a couple people messaged me. They've been having computer problems. I understand, and that's why they have us make these videos that you can basically like being in class, even if you have to miss. Somebody told me earlier, I have an emergency, I have to leave. Hey, we know that happens. So if you didn't come to class yesterday, or you were just not present while you were here, click on the video. This is yesterday's work, Tuesday, right? Just click here, and ta-da, there I am, big as life. So this is 10 minutes long. You can watch this video, figure out how to write the essay and get a good grade on it, and get it turned in and get done. And I have this for definitely any day that we have an assignment, and even for most days that we don't. So it's 10 minutes long. You can skip the introduction part where we do our affirmations and stuff like that, and be able to figure out how to write this essay and get a good grade on it. So keep that in mind. Oh, speaking of affirmations, we skipped those, didn't we? See, told you I was tired. That's okay. Carvajal doesn't mind. Y'all will forgive me. So let's do our affirmations. Let's go back up to writing. It's so important for us to have that great attitude on purpose, because I always think about it like taking medicine. If you write or you read the way you take medicine, I hate this. How are you ever going to do your best? It's just not possible. You have to adjust that attitude and learn how to do that. So come on, let's grab that barbell. Come on, gentlemen, ladies, we're going to get strong in this class and do a curl as we say it. What are you? I am smart, confident, and successful. Awesome. Yes, you are. And how do you feel about writing? I love writing. It's so much fun. And how do I feel about schoolwork? The harder I work, the smarter I become. Yes, yes, yes. So true. Okay, so let's get to today's work. Week 6. Wednesday's work. And this is for the essay revisions. If you already turned in your essay, like I said, I will be grading it today. Do you think I feel like reading a bunch of essays and grading them while I'm tired and have a headache? No, of course not. But I'm going to suffer. I'm going to do what's right anyway and get it done. And because I'm smart, confident, and successful. But regardless of that, open up your own copy. This is, of course, if you're done with your essay. And you want to be able to think through the argument. I didn't really talk about this much yesterday, but there's two parts to this prompt, right? Write an essay in which you explain how the author builds an argument, but look at the second part, to persuade his or her audience. So even if you're not focused directly on rhetoric, it's rhetoric, isn't it? I mean, this is an argumentative writing. It's an opinion piece. So it's all persuasive. This is a rhetorical kind of writing that we're doing. So you want to be able to get that clear in your mind. What is his argument? How is he doing it? What is he trying to do? So you can fill it out. What's the article's title? Go through step by step, just as usual. If you follow the steps, it's really easy to do. So it's either it's time to put Curt Flood in the Hall of Fame, or we need national service now. What's their main point? What's their argument? Well, it's pretty obvious, right? Curt Flood should be in the Hall of Fame. Or we need service now. People need to get paid to do service jobs in the US. And this is that question that you've already answered. What was used most? Well, did they use rhetoric, pathos? Did they use evidence? Was it diction and style? Just put what you already put in your essay. But here's what I want you to be clear. Why? How did they persuade the audience? What did they do? If evidence was the main thing, well, how did the evidence work to persuade the audience? And you want to get that clear, because that's going to help you with your body paragraphs. So, okay, he presented evidence and it made us see all the things that Curt Flood did so we could understand and agree with him. And that persuaded us to believe in his point. Or for national service, he gave us all these facts and statistics of how young people are ready to work and help. And it helped us understand and persuaded us, made us believe that it would be a good thing to pass this bill to have more service for this country. So once you understand that, well, you should have quotes, right? If you did 2 body paragraphs in yesterday's work, you have 2 quotes. So you're going to copy and paste in the quote you already used, and then explain how and why that helped persuade the audience. Explain, here's a big one, ladies and gentlemen. Explain even if you think it's obvious and it doesn't need to be explained. You still want to explain it anyway. When you're writing an essay, it's like you're thinking things through for people on paper. So you have to continue to think it through. You cannot just assume, oh, they understand, I don't have to say it. It's an essay. You have to say it. So be sure you don't just have a big quote for a body paragraph. You got to explain what it means. Here's my example. Remember I talked about using Nate Brazil? You can't use that article, so I used it. So I put, since you go up in prison, right? What was his main argument? This is my opinion, right? You might disagree. But I thought his main argument was, hey, Nate is too young to be put in prison for 38 years. What was used most to persuade us? Well, I still say it's emotions, pathos. He used a lot of that. And that's what he used to persuade us. Now, why? How did it persuade the audience? Well, once again, this is my opinion. The author used many details about Nate, his life, and his family to make us feel sorry for him, right? Pathos, emotions, and question whether someone so young should be sentenced to 38 years in prison. Now we're going to go to the body paragraph. The first evidence that I chose was from that first paragraph. As he strode into the 12th floor cell he shared with other youths accused of violent crimes, the Florida teenager could hardly imagine the life in prison awaiting him when the judge eventually sentenced him. "What up, Nate?" the others greeted him. "Saw you on TV. Could have done worse." He laid on his bunk, crying alone in his cell. Boy, if that ain't pathos, I don't know what is. So that makes a big difference there. That's a great quote if I'm talking about pathos, right? And how that persuaded him. Well, how does this work, right? I'm going to explain it. We already know that he's only 14 at the time, but the author goes further and makes it clear just how young and immature he is. He didn't have to give us the detail that Nate was crying all alone in his cell, but he wanted us to picture it and feel sorry for Nate. By making us understand, right, I'm explaining how this supports his argument, how this persuades us. By making us understand how emotional and young he was, he is hoping we will question whether someone so young should be in jail for 38 years, and it is very effective. Whether or not you actually believe he deserves punishment, the image of a child crying, and in such a situation, is very disturbing and sad, and has a strong emotional appeal that makes his argument stronger. So that's how I would do it. right? This is my example. You can look over my example, it's below yours, and you want to put your own thoughts. You don't have to think exactly what I did. I've seen several essays where people use diction very well, especially with Curt Flood, and some of the things, the way he said them, or of course evidence, and you just pick the one that works that you've already used, right? But you got to explain it further. If you answer this question, it's going to be easier to explain how this is connected, how this works with it. So once again, fill out the top part. You should already have everything but this last one, probably. Maybe you do, and if you do, fill it in. But then copy your quote, paste it in, and then explain. So tomorrow you should have your grade on it, and most people are making 80s, 90s, 100s. Basically, I'm looking at the rough draft. Do you have an intro, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion? A thesis, 2 body paragraphs. If you got all of that, you got 100. Some people left off a conclusion, so they got like an 85 or a 90. Or they only put 1 body paragraph, they got like an 80. So I'm not being picky with the rough draft because it is a rough draft, right? Just be sure that you put the effort so you can expand your body paragraphs. And then tomorrow you'll get a blank document. You're going to copy it in and add in these revisions. Finish up your essay, and the essay is due on Friday. And y'all are going to do great. All right, so that's all there is for me. Y'all have any questions? Please let me know.